are live in a cold Columbus, Ohio for a Big Ten matchup as we heat off into a huge matchup between the number 9 Ohio State Buckeyes and the number 14 Michigan Wolverines. My name is Lexi Mattern, and I am joined today by Lexi Edwards, a All-American former gymnast at Ohio State. We are ready for some excellent gymnastics today. A huge matchup, a Big Ten matchup. Lexi, what are you excited to see today?
Well, I'm so happy to be here. It's early in the season, so these girls are still perfecting their craft, but I'm looking to see some big gymnastics, some improvements off of last week, and just a great time. It's going to be loud, it's going to be fun here in Covelli.
I'm excited as well. We are going to see a very steamy Ohio State Buckeye team. They are coming off of a win last week at home against the Michigan Wolverines, who are on the road for the second time this season. Bev Plotke in her 35th season as head coach, Meredith Paul-Civic in her 7th season as head coach, and Michigan leads this battle between this historic rivalry, 29-14. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited too. Michigan's definitely looking to build upon last week. They had a great home opener with a 197.75 at home, and so now they're back on the road. This is a great test for them for what's to come in Big Ten play.
Michigan is coming into this meet ranked as the underdog, which is unusual for them when they come to Columbus or even when Ohio State comes to them. So this will be a test to see if they have gained any more confidence. We talked with Bev Plotke earlier this week, and she said, you can't, and that's what they are looking to do this season, is build experience, develop their athletes, and really hone in on their craft. We talked to Meredith Paul-Civic as well this week, and she said their team just wants to be considered one of the best teams in the Big Ten, and this will be their first test. We watched warm-ups. What do you think Michigan needs to focus on starting off on bars today?
Yeah, I think Michigan really needs to hone in on their landings, just have great handstands, be detailed. I'm quite sure they've been practicing a lot, and they've had a wonderful preseason, so just dial in those landings.
What about for Ohio State on vault?
Vault as well. Vault is a very dynamic event. You're looking for speed, you're looking for power, you're looking for a great block off the table to set you up for hopefully what is a stuck landing. They have been doing great so far this season on this event. They have a lot of depth, so I think this is a great event for the Buckeyes.
Can you talk to me a little bit how the vault scoring differs from other events? We're going to see different types of vaults. The start values may differ. Explain to us the difference between Ohio State's vault lineup and what we may see on other events or Michigan's vault lineup.
Absolutely. Ohio State doesn't have as many 10-0 vaults, so they do have many vaults that are a Yurchenko full that do start from a 9.95. However, their vaults are very clean and very dynamic, whereas Michigan does have a lot of 10-0 vaults where they could be at an advantage there. However, really it's about the block off the table and how clean you're able to do your vault.
Great. Michigan starting off on bars. They're going to have a little bit of an upper hand, having those 10-0 start values right off the gate. What's the most important elements to look at on or for in bar routines?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely just being clean, details, power, details all the way down from your pointed toes as well. So judges are really going to be looking for those elements today.
Couple gymnasts to watch today. We have a powerhouse dynamic duo in Sierra Brooks and Gabby Wilson for the Michigan Wolverines. Sierra Brooks actually won the AAI award last season. That's the Heisman Trophy for gymnastics. And you were at that ceremony.
Yes, I was. It was at the NCAA Nationals banquet, and I think she's a very well-deserving athlete of that award. The AAI award essentially is the Heisman of gymnastics. She's very powerful in every event. She's scored multiple 10s in her career, so she was just very deserving of that award, and very happy for her.
Sierra Brooks and Gabby Wilson named Big Ten gymnasts to watch. Not only are they athletes to watch in the Big Ten, they are athletes to watch in the NCAA, like you said, scoring multiple 10s. Moving on to the Buckeyes, Tori Vetter and Peyton Harris lead this Buckeye team as all-around competitors. What are we looking for from them today?
Yeah, they're definitely leaders on this team. Amazing, amazing. I can't say enough all-around gymnasts for the Buckeyes. Today we're looking for just hopefully some stuck landings, some very clean gymnastics, and for them to lead their team. I think, Lexi, we should also highlight a new Leo that is being debuted today by the Buckeyes. It's called the Chandelier Leotard.
I love the sparkles in the leotard.
Yes, I do too. I think it's gorgeous. Looks great on them in this arena.
Of course, it's a scarlet out today. There's a lot of scarlet in the arena today, but do not forget those Michigan Wolverine fans that have traveled down here from Ann Arbor to support their team. We'll have a great matchup today. They're two incredible teams, very dynamic and powerful teams led by incredible coaching staffs. Bev Plotke mentioned in her interview she has a lot of respect for this Ohio State team and what the coaching staff is building down here in Columbus. So we should have an aggressive matchup today.
Yes, I'm excited. It's going to be a battle, but it's going to be a great one.
Looks like we are getting ready to start competition. A couple last-minute notes from Coach Luke for the Buckeyes. Michigan Wolverines are starting off on the uneven bars, and the Ohio State Buckeyes will kick off the meet on vault. We'll see quite a few routines today. We'll see 6 in the lineup and a few exhibitions. Can you tell us quickly about those exhibition routines and why they're important?
Oh, absolutely. Exhibitions routines, they do not count towards the team total. However, they are great for the athlete to get that experience if they're unexperienced or if it's a new event for them or if they're a freshman. So I was in that exhibition spot majority of my freshman year, and it set me up so nicely for my sophomore year. This is Caitlin Grimes leading off for the Buckeyes. She's going to do a Yurchenko full. Wow. That was a great lead off for the Buckeyes. That should be a great score.
Looks like she took a small hop there on the landings. What do you think the judges will do with that hop?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be more than a 0.05, 0.5 of a deduction. I thought it was a very minimal hop.
So that was one of those Yurchenko fulls you said that has a 995 start value.
Correct. Now on bars, this is Naomi Morrison for Michigan. Great block off and a great solid landing. Kaylin Mintz getting ready to perform her vault. Kaylin is a solid and aggressive performer. She will also be doing a Yurchenko full. Small hop back, but that was a great vault for her. You can tell that she's excited.
Caitlin coming off a 9.75 from last week's performance, looking to capitalize and maybe get a better score.
Caitlin Grimes led off with a 9.825. Next, we're moving to bars. This is JC Vore.
JC Vore was mentioned by Bev Plotke that she's excited to get her into the lineups to help her build on some of that experience that you can't coach. You just got to put them in the lineup and hope for the best, to trust their training and compete the way that they train in the gym.
Absolutely. JC is coming off of a fall last week, so she's looking to build upon that today.
Has a hot career best on bars of a 9.925, so pretty darn close to perfect. This Michigan team is filled with a lot of talent, but also a lot of new faces. They had to fill 14 spots in the lineups across 4 events. They lost 3 very solid athletes and now have to regroup and see who's going to fill those very big shoes.
Absolutely. They still have some incredible leaders on that team that can help them through that transition.
On uneven bars for the Wolverines, J.C. Moore.
Naomi Morrison led off the Wolverines with a 9.825. Great first handstand. Great release move. That is what she fell on last week. She has very nice rhythm in this routine. Nice last handstand. She gears up for her dismount. And a stuck landing. That was a great routine for the Wolverines.
If you're Bev Plotke, you have to be pretty excited about that leadoff routine, right?
Absolutely.
Or excuse me, the second up following the leadoff.
This is Sydney Washington, transfer from Pitt. And a great vault. Stuck landing, very clean in the air. It can't get much better than that.
She's following a 9.8 from Kaylin Mintz, their teammate before her. Does it make you want to go back out there?
A little bit, yeah, definitely. I miss this energy. The energy is absolutely amazing, that adrenaline rush. There's nothing like it. They are excited about that vault.
She looks pretty excited. This is what we expected from a matchup of 2 teams that have the depth and the expectation of excellence. We want to see the stuck landings, hit handstands on bars. We're looking for that next step to be as close to perfect as possible.
Absolutely. And those vault judges are quick. Her score is already in at a 9.875.
They didn't have to write down much on that vault.
Not much. This is Gabby Wilson, a captain for the Wolverines. Looked like she might have been a little close in that release move. Nice handstand. And a nice shoot over. Also has great rhythm in her routine. Final cast handstand as she gears up for her dismount. And a small step back, but a great routine.
You mentioned rhythm now in the past 2 routines that we've watched. Is that something that's important for the judges to look for?
Absolutely, absolutely. And for confidence on the athlete's part. This is Nicole Riccardi, a senior. Nicole is great on this event, also a Yurchenko full. And just a small hop back, but a great vault.
The Buckeyes starting off strong on vault. You mentioned that they wanted to try to stick their vaults. We've only seen one so far. What do you have to do in order to stick a vault? You've stuck quite a few in your day.
Absolutely. You really have to set yourself up on the front half of the table so that you can have a good visual of your landing.
We're back over to bars. Following.
This is Halen. She is a freshman.
The freshman had big shoes to fill this year for Bev Plotke and her coaching staff. And they came in a little uneasy going into week 1. They had quite a few mistakes when they went out to Las Vegas. And then they recovered nicely in week 2, but they're still learning.
Absolutely. I think last week was a great confidence booster for them. A nice release move. Good transition from high to low. That is called a pack salto. Good last cast handstand. And a small step back on the landing. But that was a great routine for the freshman. I think she'll be happy with that one.
As a freshman athlete, do you find it harder to compete, or once the pressure is on, once you've established, which one's harder?
I think it can be a little bit challenging. This is Peyton Harris. Wow. And a great Yurchenko 1.5. That vault is out of a 10.0 start value. You can see she's very proud of that vault. She just had a small hop, but no technical errors in that vault.
She has nice trajectory off the table.
Absolutely. She is a great all-around athlete for the Buckeyes.
Big Ten gymnast to watch. Was named Big Ten Gymnast of the Week 2 weeks ago. Another look at that vault. So close to that stick.
So close, but nonetheless, an amazing vault.
And that's one of those vaults that starts out of a 10.0.
It actually has a blind landing, which makes it a little bit tricky, but she has definitely mastered that. This is Carly Bauman. Great first handstand. A nice release move. She was the perfect distance away from the bar too.
It's difficult to do.
Very. And she has a unique dismount here. And she sticks to landing. That is a very difficult dismount, and she does it beautifully.
I think that might be the best bar routine we've seen from the Wolverines thus far.
I think so. Very great execution there, and a great landing. This is Tori Vetter, a great all-around athlete, and nonetheless a great vault. It looked like she might have had a small scoot back on that vault, but great technical technique. Peyton Harris had a 9.9, so the Buckeyes, their vault scores are growing.
Talk to us about the trajectory of a lineup that you want to see. You typically have an athlete that's solid in the first spot, and then you move into the number 6 as the last person that counts in the lineup.
Absolutely. Yeah, your leadoff is very important. It really sets the tone for the team. And then as you go through the lineup, the anchor is usually your best performing athlete. So that's usually how the lineup goes. And this is Sierra Brooks on bars. She is a 5th year. Great first release move.
Looks like she was a little far from that bar, but held on.
Held on, yes. A little over on that shoot over, but recovers nicely.
Those ab muscles were put to work.
Nice final cast as she gears up for her dismount. And a very difficult dismount, wow. A small hop forward, but another well-executed bar routine.
Listen, if you can stick a full twisting double layout week in and week out, I would be very impressed.
Right. That's the kind of dismount you see in the Olympic Games.
And she's doing it in college gymnastics with ease.
With ease. And this is Mallory.
Mallory was in the exhibition spot last week. She's doing it again this week.
Yep. We should be seeing a 1.5 here. Wow. And just a small step forward. That is Mallory's first time doing a 1.5.
She did a Yurchenko full last week.
Yes.
And Coach Polosevic said, look, we want to see her overturn this Yurchenko full and just know what it feels like to be in a competition arena, feel the crowd, the energy, and just be safe. And then we'll see how it goes next week.
Absolutely.
And she puts her 1.5 Yurchenko out there and looks so confident.
Yes, she does. She does. She is coming off a few injuries, so I know that she's really happy to be vaulting, and I know the team's happy too. So hope to see her more in the future.
Especially with a big vault like that.
Yes. This is another exhibition routine for the Wolverines. This is Maylee Marr, Makaylee Marr. Nice routine so far. Great last cast handstand. Wonderful toe point. And just a small step back. Like we previously said, the exhibition routine is really for her to get that experience out on the competition floor.
The experience that you cannot coach but is earned.
Right, absolutely.
Your time on the competition floor. What a round of gymnastics that we saw in our first rotation of 4. The Ohio State Buckeyes lead 49-325 to 49-225.
Great first rotation for both teams.
What were your takeaways from the first rotation?
Absolutely. I feel like the athletes definitely got their jitters out as they move forward in flip-flop rotations. And I thought we saw some great gymnastics in the first rotation.
Talk to me about the landings and the details. We talked earlier about how important they are. Do you think they capitalized on the details?
Yes, definitely. And this is the time that you want to do that early in the season so that by postseason, everything looks great, it's refined. Those are the most important meets is in postseason.
Thanks so much. We will be back for rotation 2 of 4 here in Covelli. We'll see you soon. Welcoming you back to Covelli. We just finished our first rotation between the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Michigan Wolverines. The Ohio State Buckeyes are leading with a 49-325 to Michigan's 49-225. We saw some incredible gymnastics. It's quite competitive for a sport that has no contact, just you and your athletes out on the floor. I am joined by Lexi Edwards today. What's your takeaways from rotation 1?
Yeah, I thought rotation 1 was great for both events. No team had to count a fall or anything like that, so both teams looked very clean on the first event. So I think both teams have great energy going into their second event.
If you were the coaches, what are you telling your athletes?
Just to keep a good head on their shoulders. Here's Caitlin Grimes. Here's a quick replay of that nice Yurchenko full she led off for the Buckeyes. Very clean. And next, Peyton Harris, who does that 10-0 start value vault that I was talking about earlier. Yurchenko 1.5.
Ends with a smile.
That was great. And Tori Vetter.
This is a powerful vault rotation for the Buckeyes.
Absolutely. She gets such a nice block off on the table.
Talked about those little details of their blocks and the sticks. Scott Sherman, the assistant coach, and Bev Flocky, the head coach, giving their athletes some last-minute pep talks going into their vault rotation. They are one of the best vault teams in the country. Back-to-back 10-0 vaults, 10-0 start values, that is. But they all have capabilities of scoring 10s. We're going to see Gabby Wilson, who's scored 10s, as well as Raina and Sierra Brooks.
Yeah.
They've scored 10s on this event, and we could see them do it again today.
Absolutely. Raina will be leading off the Wolverines. She does have a Yurchenko 1.5. She does take a sizable step forward. She's doing that extra hold. That is a deduction if you do not do that hold now. It's a new rule in the collegiate gymnastics. So that was a great vault.
They have to hold that landing on every event now for an extra second to show the control.
Yes, absolutely.
Trying to get rid of what we used to call the college stick.
Yes, the
of
college
land
stick.
and salute.
This is Emma Pritchard, senior, leading off for the Buckeyes. Emma is such a great leadoff. A very nice first handstand. She comes in a little bit close in that release, but she recovers very nicely. Nice final handstand as she gears up for her dismount. And a great landing.
Looks like she fought for that stick.
She did. She's pumped up.
The judges want to see a little bit of that fight in the grit to really trust your training.
They do.
Of course, they can only judge what they see. They don't go to practice with the girls, but they don't want to see that look of shock on your face if you stick the landing.
They do want to see that confidence. Another Yurchenko 1.5, and she does take a couple steps forward. I believe that is a new vault for her this season. So this is great practice for her.
It's still early in the season. We're going to see some of those uncharacteristic mistakes. They're also away. They're not in their home arena. And it definitely can be a little bit of a mental game for these athletes doing new gymnastics in a new arena.
Yes, absolutely. This is Sydney Washington, the transfer from Pittsburgh.
Maybe worth mentioning that she is a native of the state of Michigan.
Yes. She has been very solid for the Buckeyes so far this season, and I heard that she has been fitting in very nicely with the team.
Must be difficult for a transfer student. New city, new school, new coaching staff, new teammates.
Absolutely.
And she looks like she just is in her element when she's out on the competition floor.
She's a very confident competitor. Nice transition from low to high. Great pack salto. Perfect pirouette on the low bar. Great last pass handstand. Looking for that stick. And a small hop backward, but a great routine for Ohio State. She actually has the exact same routine I performed last year.
Does it make you a little nostalgic?
A little bit. This is Naomi Morrison.
We'll let you put a leotard on at the end and get back out there.
She is a senior for Michigan. She has scored a high of a 9.975. Wow. And that is a stuck landing. Those are the kind of landings that we are looking for.
You got a little peek of Scott Sherman in the bottom of the screen there. He looks like that's what I expect.
Right.
She does it every day. It's what we're used to seeing. That was incredible.
Quick replay. Great block off the table, and she spots that ground.
It's hard to spot the ground on a 1.5.
It is. It's a blind landing like we talked about.
Her legs were glued together. But that's the level of excellency that we expect from this Michigan Wolverine team.
Absolutely.
They've been a powerhouse in the Big Ten and the NCAA for multiple years, and part of that is a testament to their coaching staff and how they recruit and how they train their athletes.
Absolutely. This is Tori Vetter on the bars. She opens up with a big Tkachev.
A lot of airtime.
Nicely executed. Great transition.
She's hitting those handstands.
She's very much in control. And a great dismount.
I couldn't quite tell there. Do you think she got the stick?
I couldn't tell. It looked like a slight shuffle of the feet, but we'll get a replay here.
I don't know.
I don't know either. That's going to be close. This is Gabby Wilson doing your Chinka 1.5, 10-0 vault. Wow.
Wow. Back to back.
Back to back stuck 1.5s.
Following a 9.95 from Naomi before her.
Greatly executed and does not move her feet. I really do think sticks are contagious.
They have to be.
They have to be. Michigan is hype about that vault. That was a greatly executed vault for her.
I'm hype about those vaults. Some of the best vaulters in the NCAA.
Absolutely. Another 9.95 for Gabby Wilson.
She just pops out 9.95s like it's easy.
Right. This is Peyton Harris following Tori Vetter with a 9.825.
Peyton Harris, a Big Ten gymnast to watch.
Great first handstand. Perfect release. Nice final handstand as she heads into her dismount here. Pirouette perfect on the bar. And a stuck landing.
We're seeing a lot of sticks.
Those are the landings we were looking for. That was a great routine for the Buckeyes. Here's a replay. And stuck. Does not move her feet. That was Sierra Brooks on the vault. She also did a Yurchenko 1.5 and took a step backwards. And a step backwards on that vault shows a bit of under rotation.
So when you do a Yurchenko 1.5, obviously we've talked about how difficult that is. It's a higher start value for a reason. Is it better to step forward or backwards?
So on a difficult vault like that where you do have a blind landing, you do want to step forwards. However, if you're doing a Yurchenko full where you are landing with your chest facing the table, you would like to take a step back to show that you did have a little more over rotation and you were under rotated.
The crowd is getting loud for a 9-9 from Peyton Harris.
Yes, this is Nicole Riccardi, a senior. She has gorgeous lines.
One of my favorite bar workers to watch.
I'd agree. She's just so floaty. She makes it look effortless and weightless. Great final handstand. Looking for the stick. And she gets it. A great routine. I think Nicole's like a stick machine. She's always sticking her dismounts and just a wonderful bar worker. This is Ava Jordan from Michigan. She is a freshman.
She's following Sierra Brooks 9825.
She'll be doing a Yurchenko full. And she showed a bit of under rotation I was talking about previously, but she is just a freshman. She's getting her experience, getting her confidence up, and that's what's most important.
Michigan has quite a few veteran vaulters in their lineup, despite having to replace quite a few routines overall.
Yes.
But they put up good, clean, consistent vaults today. Why is that so important for such a seemingly rookie team?
Right, well they definitely set them up and they're putting in their vaults that are consistent, that can stick and go 9-9 plus, so that other people do have an opportunity to get that experience in that exhibition spot.
A 9875 for Nicole Riccardi. Do we agree with that score? I think it's a little low.
I think it's a little low too. This is Courtney McCann, a freshman. She was Big Ten Freshman of the Week after a big score of a 9.975 last week on the balance beam.
And here she is killing a bar routine.
So far, so good for the freshman. A little short on that last cast. And a stuck dismount.
She's got to be proud of herself.
Yes. Great routine for the freshman. Like I said, getting that experience out there is so important.
She's actually in the anchor spot today, so her score could potentially count towards the team.
Yes.
She was the beam anchor last week. One judge gave her a 10.
Yes. And it was very much deserving.
Gearing up for, looks like an exhibition routine
Yes.
from Samara Buchanan. Michigan Wolverines are done vaulting. As it stands right now, the Ohio State Buckeyes are leading 98-525 to Michigan Wolverines 98-425. So just a tenth separates these two very dynamic teams.
Yes, as we knew, it would be a close one and a battle for sure.
But both of these teams are so good on these next two events. It will come down to stuck landings and those details we keep talking about.
Absolutely.
We can't imagine having a fall at this stage
Right.
in the meet, especially for us up here. We're not the ones competing.
This is Samara. She's also a freshman. Great first handstand.
How
A nice
important
move.
is that first cast handstand?
It really sets the tone for the rest of the routine. She comes in a little close on that transition from high to low.
She's off the bar. What's the deduction for her coming off the bar?
Absolutely. So a fall is 0.5 of a point. She's going to finish up here. Good last cast handstand. And She has a gorgeous double layout dismount. So although she fell, she did recover very nicely, and she finished the routine on a high note.
Very important for an athlete to be able to come back strong after a fall. There's a possibility she may be in the lineup one day, and a mistake might happen, and then every part of her routine after that counts.
Right.
We are finished with rotation 2 of 4 here in Covelli. Strong gymnastics that we are seeing where they're fighting tooth and nail for all the details. We'll be back after the break. We are back in Covelli, Columbus, Ohio, with a very heated gymnastics meet between the number 9 Buckeyes and the Michigan Wolverines. We've seen a lot of gymnastics, but we are not done yet. Take a look at these last rotations. Sydney Washington for the Buckeyes. Tori Vetter with a stuck landing.
Freshman Courtney McCann with that stuck landing.
Landings, that's the name of the game. Michigan on the vault. They came to play.
Absolutely.
I thought we might have seen a couple 10s after these stuck landings. There it is.
Did not move her feet.
They put on a vault clinic for these 1.5s.
Gabby Wilson.
Wow.
Amazing.
We saw stick after stick. You said that sticks are contagious. I couldn't agree more. Going into the third rotation, Ohio State is on the beam, and Michigan is on floor. Michigan is one of the best floor lineups in the country, and Ohio State is coming off of a hot beam rotation last week, being led by freshman Courtney McCann with a 9.9, is it a 9.975?
It is a 9.975. I thought it should have been a 10.
Which means that 9.975, in college gymnastics, they can't judge in quarter tenths, which means one of the judges gave her a 10.
Yes.
And they average it out in the middle. I would love to know where the half a tenth came from.
I agree.
We both watched it live. The crowd was shouting for 10s.
If you see, Michigan's lineup is all seniors.
An incredibly deep lineup for the Michigan Wolverines.
Emma Pritchard will be leading off the Buckeyes. In that leadoff position, again, she's just so solid. From what I've seen so far this season, she's doing some of the cleanest beam work I've seen her do.
I think she gets a little underrated for her consistency on beam. She has very clean gymnastics.
I agree.
Starting off the Buckeyes on beam, Emma Pritchard.
Last week, Emma had a 9.825. Looking very solid, very confident as usual.
What are the important elements the judges are looking for on this event?
Rhythm that I mentioned on bars, it applies to beam as well. Moving very fluidly through your routine, as well as that was a great series, as well as straight legs and pointed toes. And of course, that stuck dismount. So far, so good for Emma. She saves it. A wobble there, but recovers nicely. She gears up for her dismount. A round off 1.5, and she sticks it.
She didn't want to give anything else away after that uncharacteristic bobble.
This is Carly, a senior. Last week she scored a massive 9.925, and she's looking to repeat that today.
This floor lineup last week counted 4 9.9s and a 10.
I believe they dropped a 9.85.
The expectations are high for this floor lineup.
Very. A very nice front pass. That was a front handspring, front double twist. Once again, that blind landing we were talking about earlier. Great leap combination. This is really where the athletes get to show off their personality, as well as their powerful tumbling. A great second pass for her. That was a round off 1.5 front layout.
Floor is always fun to watch.
It is. I love to see the teammates doing it with the athlete, as I experienced last year. That always just made it so much more fun. And that was a great routine for Carly.
Talk about how important that leadoff position is. It sets the tone for the lineup.
Absolutely. This is 5th-year Alexis Hankins in the second spot for the Buckeyes.
She's another consistent athlete for the Buckeyes.
Absolutely. Alexis is so fun and so bubbly, and you really get to see that in her gymnastics. Great first element full turn that is required for all athletes. Very solid back handspring layout step out. Very solid. That's a front toss.
It's nice to see the athletes smile when they're on beam.
Absolutely. So far, so good for Alexis, just the dismount left.
It's hard to not get ahead of yourself.
One last breath. This is a round off double full, looking for the stick. And a great dismount. She is hype about that routine.
It's a great recovery routine for the Buckeyes, coming off of an uncharacteristic bobble from Emma before her.
Absolutely.
For Alexis Hankins to come in and hit her routine with minimal deductions. That's exactly what the lineup needs to build.
Absolutely. Back on the floor exercise. This is Jenna Mulligan. Last week, Jenna also scored a 9.925 on the floor. She's following Carly Ballman's 9.825. Oh. And she bounced out of bounds, had a bit too much power there.
They got to stay inside the red.
Absolutely.
What is the deduction for going out of bounds?
So I believe 1 foot out of bounds is a 10th of a deduction. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think you're right. And isn't 2 feet 2/10?
I believe so.
It's a 1/10 a foot. And that'll come off her final score.
So judges are looking for you to be very in control of all of your landings. Ends with a nice double pike, slides her foot back just a little bit, but a great recovery from that first pass. And a great finish from Jenna.
redeemed herself on that last.
Sometimes it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish.
Agreed. Talk to me about a little bit the differences between how you can lunge on the floor. We'll see some stuck landings versus a lunge. Is there a deduction for the lunge?
There is no deductions. You are allowed to take one lunge back if it's a back pass and one lunge forward if it's a front pass with no deduction. This is Peyton Harris following Alexis Hankins 9.85. She's a very solid beam worker. I love how sharp she is on this event. Very precise. Great first opening element.
If you're Ohio State, you know the rivalry, you understand how good Michigan is, you're defending your house. If you were down on the floor, what would you be feeling right now?
Just trying to stay in our bubble, you know, do what they know how to do. That's all they can do is to control what they can control at the end of the day. And that was a great routine. She is hype, stuck, double full dismount.
I'm speechless. What a routine for sophomore Peyton Harris.
Here's this dismount again, and she sticks the landing. She fought for it.
Clicked the heels together. The crowd's chanting 10. What do you think?
I think that was an amazing routine. We'll see what the judges do with it, but I didn't see many deductions there. This is Reina Trujillo on the floor. Last week, she also had a 9.925. She's following Jenna Mulligan's 9.575, so Michigan is looking to make up some ground from that routine.
Hoping to maybe drop that 9.75.
And a great first opening tumbling run for Reina.
Very difficult.
Very difficult. You see a lot of combination passes from Michigan and a lot of two-pass routines as well.
Bev Plotke has coached for so long. She really knows what gymnastics is about, and she takes that into her athletes. And she said, our athletes know what they're about. They know who they are, and we do classic gymnastics. And that's what we're getting today.
Absolutely. Nice, solid last pass for Reina.
How much pressure is on the athlete that follows someone that may have made a detrimental mistake?
Yeah, you definitely want to make up ground from the athlete before and have their back. It's so important. That's part of being a good teammate, is having your teammates back.
Well, back over to beam. A look at those scores. Emma Pritchett with a 9.7, a 9.85 for Alexis Hankins, and Peyton Harris in the 3 spot with a huge score of a 9.925.
This is Tori Vetter, another beautiful beam worker. This is a great event for Tori to show off her flexibility.
The artistry on beam is fun.
It really is. It was never my forte, but I always admired athletes who had that beam artistry. And a solid back handspring layout step out, no movement there. Another solid element there.
So many things go into making up a beam routine that has all of the requirements, but also the difficulty needed to have that 10-0 start.
Absolutely. Just the dismount left. Such a confident beam worker. And she was looking for that stick.
Fortunately, took a couple steps out of that dismount, not the dismount she would want.
Right. That is a new dismount for her this year.
Those 1.5s are blind landings like you talked about earlier and can prove to be a little tricky.
Yes, this is senior Naomi Morrison on the floor. She also had a 9.925 last week against Stanford. She's following Reina's 9.875.
It's a great follow-up from her teammate before her who had an uncharacteristic mistake.
She has a huge opening pass here.
Wow.
Very nicely executed.
She looks around like, you saw me do that. This is fun music.
It is. She's having fun out there.
It's so easy for her.
It is. Another combination pass.
Wow.
And a great landing.
I don't know what you deduct for in this routine.
I don't see many. And a wonderful routine from Naomi.
Bows at the end.
That was fun.
That was an incredible floor routine.
Absolutely.
If I could do floor again as an athlete, I would want to be her.
This is Ella Hodges, a graduate student. She is following Tori Vetter.
A 9.625 for Tori Vetter, which is uncharacteristically low for her after a few steps out of that dismount.
Ella just needs to do what she normally does. Her beam is absolutely incredible.
She's very confident on this event. They call
She
her
is.
Elegant Ella.
Last week, Ella had a 9.875. Very solid so far. I love those combination jumps. She does it so effortlessly.
She has a pretty hard beam routine.
She has a very difficult routine. She has mastered it. That was a good series for Ella.
You can see the focus on her face.
All she has left is the dismount. Let's see if she can get this landing.
Her team needs it.
And she does. That is a veteran move. Ella Hodges.
Her experience showed in that beam routine.
Absolutely.
Another
Another look. I can't get enough. A perfect dismount.
Now she's who I'd want to be on beam if I could come back.
Absolutely. She's amazing. Now, I was never on beam, so I would love to be Ella. This is Sierra Brooks. Last week, Sierra had a perfect 10 on this event.
See if she can do it again. I don't doubt it. She's 9th on the floor and 10th in the all-around
Yes.
in the country.
She broke the Michigan all-around record with a 39.85 last weekend.
She's hands down one of the best gymnasts that have competed in the NCAA.
Oh, absolutely, and she makes it look so easy.
She has such a high level of gymnastics. She's really got to focus. Here, the crowd's on their feet for Ella's 9.95 on beam.
Gearing up for her last tumbling run. And a great last pass. And a great routine from Sierra.
And a moment ago, Ella Hodges for the Buckeyes.
Are you giving her the 10?
9.95.
It was very close. She's following Naomi's 9.9. So I think that they definitely will build from that score. Now a look from Courtney McCann following Ella Hodges, 9.95. She was Big Ten Freshman of the Week last week with a 9.975.
She has an interesting beam routine as well.
She does. Very difficult. This is going to be a round-off layout on the beam.
And unfortunately falls. It's a very risky skill.
It is, absolutely. Usually you see people do round-off layouts off the beam, not to land on the beam, so.
Coach Polisiewicz said, I trust her, but it's hard. This is a very difficult routine, and she expects her to hit, of course, but there's always an element of risk when you put a routine that's this difficult out on the competition floor.
Absolutely. And she is just a freshman, so she's gaining her experience now. She is a beautiful beam worker. She has amazing technique. Just the dismount left. A round off 1.5. And a small step forward.
For Michigan, on floor, Gabby Wilson.
A very difficult routine, but she finished nicely. Gabby Wilson next on the floor. Another 5th year for Michigan.
She's one of my favorite floor routines.
She's coming off of a 9.85 from last week.
This was the score they dropped.
Yes. Sierra Brooks had a 9.95 before her.
Wow.
Great first opening run.
An open tuck full in.
Did not even need to grab her legs.
No one does it better.
I love the flexibility and power combination.
The overextension.
She did go out of bounds of this tumbling run last week.
See if she can redeem herself here.
And she does. Such a fun routine. A great routine for Gabby.
I don't know anyone that outperforms her on this event.
I agree.
This is what makes the Big Ten so competitive. It's not just Ohio State and Michigan, but every school in the Big Ten this year has came to play closely with Michigan State, Minnesota, Illinois. It's a very competitive conference this season.
It is. This is Samara Buchanan, a freshman. She is exhibitioning for the Buckeyes. She saves that series. It looked like she was a bit under-rotated. Great side aerial beat jump.
Side aerial's always scared me as an athlete, being able to see the beam the whole time.
I agree. And she performed it well.
There's quite a few side aerials in Ohio State's lineup.
It is. Just the dismount left for Samara. Let's see if she can find this landing. And she does.
What a great confidence-building routine and an exhibition spot for the Buckeyes.
Absolutely. And I believe that wraps up our third rotation.
That it does. The Michigan Wolverines have come back from behind to take the lead at a 147.9. The Buckeyes trail at a 147.625 leading into the fourth rotation. We'll be back in a few. Are back in a very loud, jam-packed Covelli for the final rotation of Big Ten gymnastics today. Taking a look at this beam rotation for the Buckeyes. Emma Pritchard in the leadoff spot. Lexi, what did you see?
She's a great leadoff competitor. This is Alexis Hankins. They did have a couple of errors, but a stuck landing for Peyton Harris. Hype about that routine.
Big scores for her and Ella Hodges, and that's why.
Amazing. Michigan on the floor.
This is where they tipped the lead for the first time today.
They really shined on the floor today.
Taking a look at Meredith Polisiewicz in her 7th season as head coach for the Buckeyes. You and I both, Lexi, have been coached by Meredith Polisiewicz. She came into this Ohio State team with a lot of goals, and she's had it's just an amazing, historic past few seasons. Talk to me about how great she is as a coach.
Absolutely. Meredith always brings the energy. She's always dancing, very lively. She really wants the best for her athletes, really cares about her athletes, and most of all, she's very passionate about gymnastics and about coaching, which is a quality you need to have in a coach, and she definitely has it.
She said they're fighting for the Big Ten session, that evening session every year. Bev Plotke, her 35th season as the head coach for the Michigan Wolverines. I would say that she bleeds maize and navy for this team. She has an overall record of 175 to 273. That's incredible. This Michigan team has won 27 Big Ten championships in totality. They are a powerhouse in the Big Ten.
Yes, very seasoned coach. She stated, we know what we are about and what we stand for.
I think that sums it up.
I think so. I think it sums it up.
Their team doesn't need a motto because they come up with it as they go, because they want it to be authentic and to be true to who they are as the competition progresses. And they started off the season a little rocky out in Las Vegas, having some uncharacteristic mistakes for a team of their caliber, and then went home and showed to the entire country that they are a force to be reckoned with.
Right. It's all about building each meet.
Bev said to us earlier this week, she said they get to do what coaches love to do, and that's develop athletes. They had 14 spots to fill, and they developed each and every one of their athletes that were new to the team to be able to fill those big roles. And they're doing it well today on the road in front of a very lively crowd in a rivalry situation. What are we looking for going into the last rotation?
Into the last rotation, last event, you're really just trying to leave it all out on the floor or on the beam. You're really trying to hone in your landings and just give it all that you have in that last rotation.
Ohio State is down 2.75 tenths to the Michigan Wolverines. If you were out on the floor competing, what would you be telling yourself as you prepare for floor? You're an All-American on floor, so what would you be thinking?
I would just be thinking just to do what I normally do, go out there and go out there confident, and just most importantly is have fun. This is Jenna Mulligan on the beam. She's very beautiful in this event. Last week she had a 9.825. Looks very confident up there.
It's very difficult to end on beam in any situation.
It is.
Feels a little better going into beam when you have a lead, of course.
100%. That was a gorgeous combination series.
They're very good at this event.
Very solid. Nice side aerial.
Michigan's going to try to shut the door here on Ohio State in this last rotation. Not give the judges any extra tense. Wow.
And a unique dismount, a back handspring, 1.5, and a tuck position, and she sticks the landing.
That was one heck of a leadoff for the Michigan Wolverines.
A great leadoff.
Another look here.
A blind landing, and she sees the ground and does not move her feet.
Wow.
This is junior Caitlin Grimes on the floor. She's been leading off the Buckeyes on floor. She is coming off of a fall from last week and looking to build upon that today. And a great first landing.
Sky-high double pike.
I'm so happy to see Caitlin Grimes back in the lineup. She was out all last year with an injury, so it's really good to see her back out there.
This is where she faltered last week.
And she recovered.
It's got to feel good.
Absolutely. I will say this red Leo looks really good on a red floor.
I was thinking the same thing. You know, you look good, you feel good, you compete well, right?
Absolutely. Gearing up for her final tumbling pass. I'm going to take a deep breath here. She ends with a double back. And she did take a step forward, showing a little bit of under rotation, but nonetheless a great routine from Caitlin Grimes.
Looked like she tried to hide that little hop forward there.
Here's a replay.
Chest was a little low.
A great start for the Buckeyes.
Redeemed herself after last week. And we're back to beam.
Next is this Reina Gugino? She's a very floaty beam worker.
She had a 9.775 last meet.
A nice solid back handspring layout step out.
She's following Jenna's 9.9 in the leadoff.
Wow, what a leadoff score. Really setting her team up nicely. That was a side semi. You land sideways on the beam. And Reina performed it beautifully.
Michigan's just so technically advanced.
And a sizable step forward. Other than that, I did not see many deductions in her routine.
They've got to be happy with the way those first two routines started off their lineup.
Looks like Michigan's keeping the momentum alive.
They had plenty of it coming from that floor rotation. Caitlin Grimes for the Buckeyes at a 9.8 in the leadoff.
This is Sydney Washington, the transfer from Pitt. Last week, Sydney had a 9.875.
She also has a very fun floor routine.
She does. A huge double pike. Great second tumbling run.
We'll see a mix of 2 tumbling passes and 3 tumbling pass routines from the Buckeyes.
She's having fun out there.
And having fun watching it. It's a win-win situation.
Final tumbling run for Sydney. A double back and a great landing.
She showed excellent control there. See her teammates in the bottom dancing along with her.
And a great routine. That was fun. Good for her. That's going to be a big score for the Buckeyes. Gabby Wilson on the beam. Another powerful beam worker.
She's following Reyna's 9.875 before her.
And a great back handspring layout step out. One of the highest layout step outs I think I probably have ever seen.
She's got some powerful legs.
She's coming off of a 9.85 from last week. Standing leap combination. She makes it look easy, but that's very difficult. Looks like she shuffled a little bit on her full turn, but she ends with one of the most difficult dismounts in the NCAA. It's going to be a round-off double back.
Let's see if she can stick it.
And a sizable step backwards, but she showed more over rotation. That was a great routine. The crowd is on their feet for Sydney Washington's 9.9.
I believe that's a new career high for her as a Buckeye.
I believe so.
Good for her.
Next up is Kaylin Mentz. Oh, another look at Gabby Wilson's dismount. Very powerful. Wow.
Just so high up in the air.
So impressed.
I've seen her stick that double back quite a few times.
Kaylin is a sophomore. She opens up with a big full in. Wow.
Ohio State doing their best to control what they can control and maybe close that lead to Michigan. See if they can pull out a win still.
Great second tumbling pass. Kaylin shows so much more confidence this year. She's definitely coming into her own in her gymnastics.
A true breakout season, if you will.
Yes.
These floor routines are about 1.5 minutes long. It's the longest minute and a half of your life.
Yeah, it can get pretty tiring.
It takes a lot of endurance.
The crowd is clapping for Kaylin's last tumbling pass. She ends with a double back. Let's see if she can find the landing.
Looks like she almost went out of bounds there.
She had a little extra juice in that last pass, did rebound back and took a couple of steps backwards.
But
the judges,
stayed in bounds.
she did stay in bounds. The judges will take that deduction. This is J.C. Moore up on Michigan, coming off of a 9.875 from Gabby Wilson.
JC last week with a 9.675 was the score they dropped.
She did have a bit of trouble in her series last week, so let's see if she can stick her series here.
Much better.
Much better, very solid.
She looks more confident this week. Speaking to that experience.
Very solid front toss. Nice lead combination there. Just a dismount left for JC. a small step forward. She is happy with that routine. Much better than a 9.675, so she's happy with that one.
Heading back to floor after taking another look at this dismount.
Great routine.
Finished with a smile.
It's Tori Vetter. Last week, Tori had a 9.925.
Very fun floor routine for Tori.
I should add that Tori's a very good dancer. Great first tumbling pass, and she knows it.
She is an all-around competitor and unfortunately had some little steps out of her dismount on beam. She's looking to come back strong on this event and help her team try to pull off a win.
So far, so good for Tori.
She's following a 9.8 from Kaylin Mintz.
What a fun routine. Last pass for Tori. And a great last pass. That was a great routine for Tori Vetter. The Buckeyes are going to be happy with that one.
Team greets her out on the floor after an excellent showing for Tori Vetter.
Here's another look. Great last tumbling run.
Didn't give the judges much excuse to put pen to paper.
Right. She's very much of a performer, which helps a lot too. This is Carly on the beam.
Carly is an excellent display of artistry and technique on this event.
She's coming off of a 9.9 last week. Very solid.
She's following JC Vore with a 9.825.
Great leap combination. And a very unique element.
There's a lot of diversity in Michigan's lineups from the types of skills and the way their routines are comprised.
That's the fun part about being a gymnast. You get to be versatile. Just a dismount left. And a small hop forward. But a great routine. She looked very confident up there, and it flowed very nicely.
Very technically sound routine.
Yes, absolutely. Another look at that dismount here. Michigan's happy with that routine. This is now Peyton Harris coming off of Tori Vetter's 9.9. Last week, Peyton also had a 9.9. She opens up with a front double, punch front.
Very difficult tumbling pass.
Executed beautifully.
Wow. You don't see a lot of athletes step into college gymnastics and be as good as she was at the start of last season. And
Absolutely.
she, week after week, not only has gotten better, but has stayed consistent in the level of excellence that she puts out every week.
She truly is a natural. She qualified as an individual to the NCAA championships last year, and I had the pleasure of qualifying with her, and we just had such a great time. She's just such a natural, so confident. Just excited to see what the future brings for Peyton Harris. Gearing up for her last tumbling pass. Wow. Such big height on that. She did have a bit of a hop backwards, but a great routine.
This is going to be a close one.
Absolutely.
For Michigan, on the Sierra Brooks.
Next is Sierra Brooks.
Carly Bauman's score actually came in at a 9.875.
Sierra Brooks, a great beam worker.
She has lots of confidence on this event.
Last week she scored near perfectly at a 9.975. And that is a triple series, a very difficult combination.
Again, such a high level of gymnastics that she puts out every week.
The key really is to make it look easy, and she really does.
And believe me, that is not easy.
Not by any means. She's moving so confidently through this routine. Very solid.
Have you seen anything wrong with this routine? I haven't.
Not so far.
She might get the perfect score today.
All she has left is her dismount, wound off double full, and she sixths the landing. What do you think?
I mean, I'm not the judge, but I'd give her the 10. That was so well done.
That was very,
and I'm not
very good.
surprised because she does it every week.
Absolutely.
She's just that good. Taking another look at this back handspring double full.
Which is a very difficult dismount. We'll see what the judges does with that one.
I mean, there's no way they wrote anything down.
I agree. This is Ella Hodges. Coming off of Peyton Harris's 9.875.
Ella is the anchor for the Buckeyes.
She has a very dramatic routine. She's gorgeous on the floor. Last week, Ella Hodges had a 9.95.
I want her so badly to get a 10 this season.
And a great first pass of a double pike. Wow, gorgeous leap combination. She's so elegant on this event.
She makes it look easy, effortless, and her artistry is just so good.
Last pass for Ella here. And that was a perfect landing. Wow. And Covelli is on their feet. That was a great routine from Ella Hodges.
They're chanting 10.
I really hope to see that 10 from her.
This was a pretty darn good floor routine.
Very good.
Her feet were planted on those landings.
I did not see much deduction at all. Back over to the beam, we have an exhibition routine of McKaylee Marr. She is a transfer.
She's following a 9.975 from Sierra Brooks.
And a great series right there. Gorgeous side aerial. beautiful leap series, nice extension in her legs and pointed toes. That was a great exhibition routine. Hopefully we get to see her in lineup in the future.
What a competitive rotation.
This is now Savannah Gonzalez, an exhibition routine.
She's competed in the lineup quite a few times for the Buckeyes in the past.
She has. The Buckeyes have so much depth this year on this event. She opens up with a double pike and a perfect landing. She's a very gorgeous dancer on this event. Solid second tumbling run. She's gearing up for her last pass. And that was amazing. I think that was the best routine I've seen her do.
She's really fighting to get back into that lineup.
She is.
It's a great spot for the Buckeyes to be in, having the depth in the lineups to really push the competitive nature.
Absolutely. And that was a great routine for Savannah.
And that rounds out our competition here today in Covelli. We're going to get an opportunity to hear from Ella Hodges from Ohio State. What a day.
What a great competition it was today. Yes, it was very much of a battle.
Very battle down to the last two rotations. Ohio State led the first two rotations, and Michigan came out strong going into their floor rotation, and they shut the door on Ohio State and then really capped off a strong performance on beam with very few bobbles or mistakes.
They did, yes. Final score, Michigan 197.4 and Ohio State Buckeyes 197.025.
It's a little lower for both teams than what we saw last week from them, but improvements still to be made, but excellent gymnastics nonetheless today. If you were the coaches, what are you looking forward to going into this week of training?
Yes, just looking to refine skills and details and hone in on those landings. Make sure to go back and rework any missed handstands or any falls that occurred last week so that you can put them into next week and hopefully change and fix those mistakes.
Neither team today had to count a fall, which is really impressive for this point in season. But is that what we expect from these two Big Ten teams?
I think it is what you expect from these Big Ten teams. These teams are very talented teams, very confident performers. So I do believe that it is the expectation.
The expectation has been set. These teams are competitive, and they're putting out excellent gymnastics at week 3. And that's hard to do.
It is.
We are joined by Ella Hodges, a super senior for the Buckeyes. You have been such a staple on this team for years, and now you're solidified as a leader. What did this meet mean to you today?
I think it's just another step in the right direction for us. I mean, we didn't come out winning, but I thought we did great. We kept the energy high, and we ended with a really great score, still with some mistakes and some improvements to go. So, yeah.
And this is your 5th year, your final year. What are your goals for yourself that you have this year?
My goal has been just to enjoy each and every meet, even if it doesn't go the way that I want, or just enjoy being out there, being with my team, doing the sport that I love and the gift that I've been given. So
Thank you so much, Ella.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Great job today.
thank you so much.
What a well-spoken athlete.
Absolutely.
It's nice to be able to hear from the girls and how they feel their meets are going. It's still so early in the season. Yes, we saw some uncharacteristic mistakes, but the silver lining to that is that they get to come back next week and do it all over again and fight for a chance to be better and to get better.
Exactly.
We are going to round out our meet here in Covelli with an awards ceremony. We'll name some MVPs from each team and award the winners today. We'll be able to take a look back at some of the brilliant gymnastics we saw today, starting off with Ohio State on the floor.
Caitlin Grimes leading the Buckeyes off with a very solid performance.
This is what really started them off.
Sydney Washington with the first 9-9 for the Buckeyes with a very solid routine, a very fun routine, really got the crowd going.
And a 9-9 early in the lineup is so important.
Taking a look at balance beam for Michigan, Gabby Wilson with this huge double back, a very difficult dismount.
I can't help but say, wow.
Incredible.
I'm speechless with the way that they performed these beam routines.
I am as well.
They are going to want to copy and paste.
And Sierra Brooks with this near perfect routine.
I would have given her the 10. One judge did give her a 10. We peeked around to see what the judges had them in. Naming the MVPs, Gabby Wilson and Sierra Brooks for the Michigan Wolverines.
And our co-MVPs for The Ohio State University are Peyton Harris and Ella Hodges.
Peyton Harris and Ella Hodges, MVPs of Ohio State. Very well deserved.
You know, gymnastics is an individualized team sport, so while there's only one athlete going at a time, it is so important to do your job and to set your teammates up for success and do what you've trained in practice.
It is.
And your champion of the league today is Michigan with a score of 197.4.
Michigan Wolverines did come out on top today with a 197.4. The Ohio State Buckeyes fall with a 197.025. This is their first loss at home in quite some time. Hard one to swallow with a rivalry at stake here today.
But I think it'll just add fire under them for next week, back at home on Monday.
Leading right back into practice this week. While this may be a rivalry, it's still a Big Ten competition, and these teams are so good. They're one of the top two of the top teams in the Big Ten. That's a mouthful, isn't it? And they showed it today. 197s are hard to do. It means that you were consistent and next to perfect the entire meet. We talked about it. They didn't count a fall. So where do you go from here?
Yeah, from here, it really is just a confidence booster, just to keep doing what you've been doing, utilize that consistency, utilize your talent, utilize your leaders. The teams, I thought they looked very great, and they will just keep trying to build off of that week after week. You really have to take things 1 week at a time because they are competing every week for the next couple of weeks. So,
name of the game is to stay healthy, build the confidence, and control what you can control. While it is a cold day in Columbus, Ohio, it was a very hot gymnastics meet here in Covelli. I'm Lexi Mattern.
And I'm Lexi Edwards.
And we sign off after week 3 of NCAA Gymnastics.